Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our services here today, we'll kindly ask if everyone would please turn off or silence all electronic devices. Thank you.
Adonai ro'i lo echsar bine odeshe yar bitzeini al mei menuchot yenaleini nafshi Yeshover, Nafshi Yeshover, Yahanecheini, B'ma'aglei tzedek, Leman Shemo. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות לא אירא רע כי אתה עמדי שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי ושדישנת ושמן ראשי כוסי רוויה אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני ירדפוני כל ימי חיי ושבת בבית אדוני ליורך ימים.
Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Eshet Chayil means a woman of valor who can find, for her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, and through her he has no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and works willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She rises also while it is yet night and gives food to her household and a portion to her maidens. She considers a field and buys it, and with the fruit of her hands she plants a vineyard. She girds her loins with strength and makes strong her arms. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the law of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household, and eats not the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed, and her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done valiantly, he says, but you exceed them all. To begin our time together today, reading an excerpt of Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor, from the book of Proverbs. It's a song sung each Friday night at the Shabbos table in celebration of a strong Jewish woman. And today, we are brought together in loving memory of Dina Elfman, Esther Dina bat Yitzchak Rivka, a woman so warm and so personable, a woman who will be missed by so many who loved her, but especially her beloved husband, Harvey. And I remember meeting Harvey and Dina early on as the rabbinic intern at CBT. It's 11 years ago, where they preceded me. They've been members there for decades. I got to know Dina as a warm presence on Friday night, always smiling when I made it away around the room to spend time speaking with her. And she took time to ask me how I was doing as we developed a relationship together. Dina made her presence known and felt in our community, using that warmth as a devoted member of our membership committee. She brought herself to shepherd in new people into this shared community that she loved and that I learned to love as well. But Eshet Chayil ends with an exclamation from husband to wife, where he says, "Many women have done valiantly, but you exceed them all." Harvey, we all know and acknowledge your strong devotion to Dina during your 42 years of marriage. First as her partner, and eventually as her partner and caretaker. We acknowledge, all of us gathered here, acknowledge all that you've done for her and stand with you and behind you now. You know, as we've spoken over the years and over the last few months, I've heard your loving concern for Dina and how you've tried to use your experience to bring deeper understanding to dementia and caretaking to others. All of you gathered here have memories of Dina. I invite us now as a community to take a moment in quiet contemplation, to let a positive memory of her fill your mind. If you smile, you have my permission, that's okay. There's much to smile about in Dina's life. Fill this room with your thoughts of love shared. And in that vein, we take a moment in memory and in quiet. Dina is survived by her son Larry, her daughter Shelley, her brothers Herb and Daniel and Daniel's wife Judy, and her grandchildren, and of course, her beloved husband, as I mentioned, Harvey. I'm Rabbi Nathan Weiner. I'm the rabbi at Congregation Beth Tikva in Marlton. Excuse me?
And also, Dina's daughter, Louisa.
Thank you.
From back in
And your stepdaughter Louisa. Thank you, Harvey.
the- And the late Lauren Siegel.
And the late Lauren. Thank you. I'm Rabbi Nathan Weiner. I'm the rabbi at Beth Tikva in Marlton, where Harvey and Dina have made their spiritual home. I'm joined on the bima today by our Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Gary Gans, and by Cantor Joe Leibovic, our cantor. On behalf of the entire congregation, it's an honor for me to be present here with you today, to mourn and to celebrate Dina's memory with you. And now invite Rabbi Gans to share some words.
Shalom, everyone. I've known Dina and Harvey forever, it seems. Always enjoyed their presence, their company, the joyfulness that Dina always brought to the room. And as Rabbi Nathan experienced, she also always asked about me and my family and how we all were progressing. And she sincerely asked because she cared, because she wanted to know. I have several memories, especially linked to the fall holiday of Sukkot. Once upon a time, I used to have my open sukkah at my house. And Harvey and Dina would come to the sukkah at my house, and they would participate in the conversation, enjoying other people, and enjoy the nash. And I remember showing Dina how to use the etrog, how to use the lulav, and it was a meaningful moment for her and for me to instruct her. Then there was another Sukkot at the synagogue. The late summer, it was very hot out in the sukkah with very little ventilation. And midway through the service in the sukkah, Dina fainted, or at least seemed to faint. And we had to bring a chair to comfort her. Now, Dina was always a bit hard-headed, could we say? And at my suggestion, request, not a demand, that we call 911, she declined. Actually, she refused. I'm okay, I'll be fine. But don't tell Harvey. So we gave her something to drink, but I insisted that I would follow her home. And she took such a roundabout way, and I followed her bumper to bumper just to make sure she got there okay, and waited until she got out of the car. She waved me on and moved a few car lengths down and waited until she got into the door. And no, I never did tell you, Harvey, because she asked me.
That at all.
No. Then there was the last Sukkot. Rabbi Nathan had this wonderful idea for a sukkah mobile. In light of the virus where people couldn't come to the synagogue sukkah, he brought the sukkah out to different people, including to my house. And Harvey and Dina came. It was a little sad. She had this vacant look. I don't know how much of it she absorbed, but Harvey, you made sure that she had stimulation, that she had social contact and Jewish tradition filling her spirits. Harvey, you've been a mensch. You've been a supporter. And I'd like to suggest that not only through your caretaking did you add years to her life, but you added life to her years. There's a prayer that I have said many times from this pulpit for members of our congregation, my own family. But it is so powerful, so poignant now to hear the words of Ben Sirach, who essentially would say in Yiddish, Genig, enough. Let me share his words with you in translation as they echo through the eons. And he wrote, we are all destined to die. We share with all who ever lived, with all who ever will be. Cry for the dead. Hide not your grief. Do not restrain your mourning, but remember that continuing sorrow is worse than death. When the dead are at rest, let their memory be a source of peace, and be consoled when the soul departs. Death is better than a life of pain, and lingering illness requires rest. As a drop of water in the sea is a grain of sand on the shore, are our few days in eternity. The good things in life last for a short time, but a good name endures forever. We're going to have two speakers presenting their personal views and understanding of Dina and her life. I'm honored first to call on her brother Herb. Please join us.
Well, Dina, it's your baby brother. Just here to say hello. And to remember when you counted to 10 until I ran up those steps to go to bed. Well, you are truly a vibrant creation of sparkle, enthusiasm, and that beautiful heart. Wonderful advice with that intelligent mind, loved with all your being, and showed it. Wow, Dina, what a gift to everybody. You always were so proud of me. Well, so was I of you. In your recent clear moments, with these wonderful blue eyes, you looked at me and said, I love you, Herb. I now clearly can tell you I will love you, respect you, and for sure we'll meet you again. Kisses, you sweet woman, and my dear sister, forever.
Thank you, Herb. And now, for a few moments, I also welcome Harvey to the Bema here.
Wow, what a turnout, my beloved wife. is with heavy heart that I announce that my wife of nearly 42 years passed away on Wednesday, March 30th, around 7 a.m. She died peacefully and comfortably in her sleep at home, in her hospice bed, and without any pain or medication. Dina loved spending time with her friends and family, and always had a smile on her face. Dina always looked at the positive to everyone until one day at a time. She will be missed and will be in my heart forever. My wife had Alzheimer's disease for the past 8 years. She was a real trooper until late October of 2021, when she stopped eating and began sleeping and drinking and began sleeping most of the day. After a 6-day hospital stay in November, Dina came home with virtual home care. The nurse, after a few days, requested me to put her in hospice care, where she passed away 4 months later. Dina was a people person and started as a child in her parents' stationery store in Camden, New Jersey. The original name was Keystone Stationery. Sometime later, the name was changed to Tappert Stationery. As she grew older and learned the business to a perfection, she became an outside sales expert for Yorkshire, Chapel, and Office Depot until she retired 20 years ago. Dina was also active in the Jewish community and the office product meetings by belonging to various organizations. We joined Congregation Bet Tikva in 1983. Dina was one of the first bat mitzvahs performed at the synagogue and was a member of the membership committee and joined many of the other synagogue events. Again, I want to thank every one of you very much for coming out today, as well as everyone watching the service on live stream. Thank you.
These thoughts and memories and dedications in mind that we move to the central prayer of a Jewish memorial service, El Malei Rachamim, that asks that Dina's sweet soul be granted true rest on the wings of God's divine presence. I'll read it first in the English, then the cantor will chant it in the Hebrew. Please rise. God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant true rest on the wings of the Shekhinah, the divine presence, in the exalted spheres of the holy and pure, who shine as the resplendence of the firmament to the soul of Dina Elfman, Esther Dina Bat Yitzchak Verivka, who has gone to her eternal home. For charity has been donated in remembrance of her soul. May her place of rest be in the Garden of Eden. Therefore, may the All-Merciful One shelter her with the cover of God's wings forever and bind her soul in the bond of life. Adonai is her heritage. May she rest in her resting place in peace. And let us say, Amen.
El Malei Rachamim Shochem Bamromim Hamtzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Ashchina במעלות קדושים, במעלות קדושים, קדושים וטהורים, גזוהר הרקיע מזהירי את נשמת אסתר דינה בת יצחק ורבקה שהלכה לעולמה בגן עדן תהא מנוחתה לכן בעל הרחמים יסתיריה בסתר כנפיו לעולמים ויצרור בצרור החיים נשמתה אדוני הוא נחלתה ותנוח בשלום על משכבה ונאמר אמן.
Please be seated. As our time together here at the chapel draws to a close, the family asks that donations in lieu of flowers be made either to Congregation Beth Tikva or to the Alzheimer's Association. A reminder also that there are Shiva Minyanim tonight and tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. each night at the Lake Residence, 1209 Sagemore. A word about parking. The covered canopies are reserved for residents, and the handicap spots are also reserved for residents. Please, if you're able to walk the distance, to park up by the clubhouse, stay to the right as you walk around and follow the numbers to 1209. Otherwise, you can park in one of the empty spaces closer to the apartment. An interment will immediately follow at Montefiore in Jenkintown.
And may we have the pallbearers, please. I will ask you all to rise once more, please.
יושב בסתר עליון, בצל שדי עליונה. אמר להם, עושים מצורתי אלוהי תחתו. והוא יצילך מפחד כוש ודבר כבוד. ורבתו יוסף לך ותחת כנפיו תחסה, צינה וסוחרה אמיתו. לא תירא מפחד לילה מחית יעוף יומם. מדבר באופל יהלוך וכתב ישות זורעים. יפול מצילך אלף ורבה ממינך, אליך לא ייגש. רק בעיניך תביט ושילמת רשעים תראה. כי אתה אדוני מחזיק, עליון שמת מעונך. לא תאונה אליך רעה ונגע לא יקרב אוהליך. כי מעלך
Folks, I'm going to
בקרבנה.
ask everyone if you can kindly just take seats just for a moment, please. Thank you.